go live on your top left there.
Oh.
If you needed to do that.
Oh, how do I do that? Yeah.
Yeah, just push it. While you're monkeying with it, we'll say hello. Rock time on a Thursday morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of National Real Estate News with my good friend Aaron Gordon, and also happens to be a badass baller lender and social media figure that is the provider of information, all things kind of economy and lender related stuff. So we lost him here for a second, but he'll be right back, I'm sure. Yep, there he is. Hang on.
What happened?
Yep, he's back.
I got booted out.
Oh, hang on one sec.
I'm trying to stream it to my own audience, and I got booted out.
I think you're in. You're good.
I am.
Yeah. Did you get it to your other audience?
I'm doing it right now. National. Wow, this is pretty cool. I'm doing it like live, Shay. I'm like going.
You're going live.
Exactly. I'm going live.
So
how can you do that?
Just so the audience knows, we are a little bit technology challenged because I don't have my assistant who would normally do the background stuff. So Aaron and I are figuring things out on our own. So that's kind of scary.
We got no assistant.
It's been working for a couple weeks. So I'm figuring it out. I'm learning so much on how to do a live show.
Okay, so wait, I'm trying to get my audience in here now. So I'm doing it. I'm working this concurrently.
You work that. I'll keep saying nice things about you. We lost you there for a minute, but Aaron and I go way back to the Las Vegas days. We've been friends for a long time and business associates. He's a trusted lender source for me and my teams, both for getting loans done, troubleshooting. The guy has more knowledge than pretty much anybody I know in the industry, but besides my wife, I got to throw that out. Jen get mad if I don't plug her. She's really good too. Which, by the way, Jen worked with
She's amazing.
For quite a while. And
great lender.
What's that?
She's a great lender. Really great lender.
Yeah, she's good. She knows her guidelines.
And that's one thing. Let's start the conversation with that, Shay. I mean, that's today in today's day and age. What's happened the last year is because the business has been down. So a lot of lenders have left the business. Now, do you think that a really good, really strong lender would have left the business? Probably not. So if the lender is still around, they're probably a decent lender. You want to when you're interviewing lenders, you want to talk a little bit about their experience and too often. When things are going good, especially in your business and mine, Shay, a lot of people decide to jump in. Some people, right. and look, I have no problem with somebody coming from a different field into our business. I think it's needed. It has to happen. But if you come in, you got to go all in. And so you can't say, I'm a bartender at night, I'm a lender by day. Very, very, very few people can pull that off. Now, I'm not saying it can't happen. So I've known some people that have done an amazing job of having two jobs and being a lender or a real estate agent, but it's a small percentage. And so when you're choosing a lender or a real estate agent, you got to interview them. And you know what? If they're your friend and they don't do a lot of transactions, do you really want them cutting their teeth on the biggest financial transaction of your life? Right. It's not difficult to say to somebody, look, I love you to death. We're great friends. But, if maybe I can have you be involved with my agent so you can learn with my agent and I'll give you a small commission or whatever,
That's a great idea. That's a great compromise.
You would do it, right, Shay?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've given referrals to people's relatives in order to have their business. So they're like, hey, I want to work with you, but my cousin or my aunt is an agent in North Carolina. And like, would you give them a referral? I'm like, absolutely. Give them a referral. Yeah. I never thought about, hey, why don't you work closely with me? I'll show you how I do all this.
Yeah. Help me chase down documents. Help me contact, I mean, it was funny when the lawsuit happened the big lawsuit with the way that they could potentially change real estate commissions. We don't want to drill too much into that, but it was interesting how there was a post going around about the list of things that a real estate agent does on a transaction, and the list was like, this long on Facebook, and it's true though. I mean, there's a lot that goes into our businesses, and when you don't have an assistant or you just have a transaction coordinator, look, if somebody wants to help out for a small fee to earn a commission, I'm happy to bring them on. I'd be happy to bring them on. You'd be happy to bring them on. So I think that's a good way to do it without potentially jeopardizing your transaction.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point, and here's a cool stat. I don't know if it's cool or not, but it's the truth, is 4 out of 5 realtors in the business any given time, their first year, fail the first year. The second year, 4 out of the 5, the ones that are left, fail out of the business. So there's a very small percentage of people that are actually going to make it in this business and do whatever it takes to become successful. So I've always said it's really easy to be successful in this business. All you have to do is whatever it takes. So if you're not getting the success you want to see, you need to up your level. And it's usually conversations is really all it is.
Well, and you know what? I mean, you've read a million of these inspirational business books like I have, and one of the biggest things they always say is there is no plan B. If you choose to do something, there's plan A. There's no plan B. As soon as you let plan B get into your mind, you might as well just go to plan B. And so if you're going to get into the real estate business or the mortgage business, you got to go all in. And because it's a difficult business those first 2 to 3 years for sure. It's really, really challenging. It looks glamorous and it looks like, there's a lot of people making good money, which there is. But those first couple of years when you're trying to build a name and a reputation and show that you know what you're doing, the only really way that you pull that off, I think, is that you got to immerse yourself in becoming an expert. Because the big challenge for you is that you may have 1,000 friends. Okay. And you think, wow, I know, if let's say that you want to be a lender, for example. Well, I have 20 friends that are real estate agents that are all good. Do you really think they're going to put their livelihood in your hands the first few months when you don't know anything about what we do? No, of course not. You wouldn't do it either. And so you have to build trust. I remember it used to frustrate me, Shay, with my first 5-6 years in the business, none of my friends would give me a loan. Like they're buying houses left and right. And not one of them would use me. Well, I had to take I was lucky enough, and I believe in this too. You got to get coached. It's always important to get coached, no matter what industry you're in. I mean, look, the best tennis players in the world have coaches. The best golfers in the world have coaches. The best athletes in the world have coaches. Michael Jordan still has a coach. CEOs have coaches. If you're trying to be successful in a field where you control your income, I truly believe in coaching. And my coach said to me when I would get frustrated that, look, you haven't earned the right to win their business, right? You're not trustworthy enough in your business yet. You need to prove to them that you're the man for the job. They know you as their friend, as their drinking buddy, as their buddy who talks sports with them. They don't know you. They don't know you and trust you as somebody to talk their finances with and to loan them money. And so it took years. Nowadays, I mean, most of my friends, knock on wood, use me. But those first 4 or 5 years, I mean, literally none of them did it. So, and I was successful. I got successful really early on, and they still just didn't. They didn't know me like that. They didn't trust me like that. And then also, especially when it comes to mortgages, talking people's finances is a very personal subject. And the closer you are, the less they may want to have those conversations with you. It happens to me and you to this day, right? Somebody who's close to us will choose another lender or real estate agent, and we're perplexed by it. We don't let it affect us like we probably did earlier on in our career. But you just have to understand that there was something they didn't want to share with you. Yeah. There was some line they didn't want to cross with you.
I've actually had that happen more than one time. Like, hey, I didn't know you were a realtor, or I didn't know this, or I went with somebody else, but, next time I'm going to use you. Okay, great. Yep. Next time comes around, they don't use me. And I'm like, and then we end up getting together or something. They're like, hey, man, I just want to say I'm real sorry. I didn't use you, but, I was going through a financial hardship and I was embarrassed for you to know it. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, man, don't worry about it. He's like, but next time I'm going to use you. I said, okay, cool. And the next time came around, still didn't use me. So sometimes people just don't want to mix those parts together, and that's fine. That's totally Totally get it. I mean,
So,
everybody's financial stuff. Strangers come up and give me all of their information about, I mean, and I'm talking high net worth people, low net worth people. It doesn't matter. Like, they'll tell me their credit score, how much money they have in the bank, you know, how much income they make, you know, all the stuff. Like, but some people, your buddies or relatives even, might not want to share that information with you for whatever reason, and that's fine.
Yeah, for sure. And then, and the longer you do this, the more. But so back to new people looking to get into it, you know, you can't rely on those people the first few years for sure. So you have to go network and other areas. You have to market, and it takes time. And you know, look, the first person you get that says yes, I'm going to buy a house, or the first person says yes, I'm going to get a loan from you. That's 90 days away.
Yep.
Right. So every transaction is 90 days away. So you know, you're looking at a few years before you're going to make a decent living, and you know, it's an amazing field. I highly recommend it for everybody. I don't care what happened in 2023. You know, it's all cyclical, and if you can battle the cycles and you can manage your finances, and you know that some months you're going to make zero, but some months you're going to make a lot. You know, then I highly encourage you do it, and you just got to know and be a decent salesperson, and don't think social media is going to pull it off. Don't think for 1 second you're going to be, you know, you're going to get 1 million followers on social media, and that's going to be all you need to do. It's not. So it's a very personal business. Social media is amazing. I do a lot of it, but it's great for branding. It's great to establish who you are, but it doesn't really relate in transactions as much as you brand for you. And I think it's a very critical piece to do, because Shay, let's just into some numbers. The biggest buyers today are who? They're millennials and Gen Z. Interestingly, Gen Z, that generation behind millennials, which is they're like their 20s, and some of them are like not even of buying age yet. Like, I don't even know what the age starts at, but it's like 14 or 15 now or something, whatever they are. But that generation, the ones that are 21 plus or 18 plus, are the biggest group of home buyers ever. They're buying more homes as a percentage than baby boomers did. Wow. Now, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. You think about it. Millennials went through the mortgage crisis with their parents, right? Those folks were, you know, in their formidable years when the mortgage crisis occurred. So they were like 15, 16 years old. You know, they were in their teens. They saw what their parents went through, but probably lost their house or couldn't make their house payment or whatever. And that was traumatic.
You talking like 2005 and 6, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, like 2008, 9, 10, right, when the mortgage crisis happened, right? So those millennials were, you know, even 20s, early 20s, right? They saw the worst part of homeownership, right? Now, even though they are the biggest group of home buyers today, they still saw that. The Gen Zers behind them, they were too little. They didn't really know what was going on. So that all they've seen is, holy good God, my parents' home went up 40% the last couple of years. Right? Or my parents bought this home in 2010 for $180,000. That's worth $480,000 today. So they're super excited about buying homes. So it's interesting how it depends on your perspective on when you've come up, right? And so, but so why circling back? So if you're, you know, the millennials and the Gen
Z for a second. So it's circling back and then. Boom.
Oh, is that?
You said circling back and then it froze, so we lost it there for a second.
Circling back to the social media piece, right? If you're a millennial or a Gen Zer, right, and your agent referred you a lender, where's the first place you're going to look?
A Gen Zer?
Yeah. If you were a millennial or a Gen Z or an agent referred you a lender, where's the first place you'd go look? Or
online,
real estate agent. Yeah, you're going on the internet. So so they're going to go search you, and so you got to be there. You got to have a good presence. You got to be there under your name, right?
And just like most people, I'll look on social media. I want to see what they're like, what they're personally like.
Bingo. And so we're a little bit older, Shay. I don't necessarily. I go to social media too, but we're older for that. The Gen Zers and the millennials totally go to social media. And so if you don't have an Instagram, if you have like 2 pictures you posted on Instagram, you think they trust you? Right.
If they don't know enough about you from that. They can learn a lot about from you by what you're posting and how you talk and what you say, and they want to see that. I want to see that. And you're right, we're like a little older to be doing that, and we do it. But I mean, shoot, when I'm looking for it to align with anybody, I want to know what they're like. So I dig a little deeper.
That generation doesn't even use the phone. They don't even text each other. They message each other in social media.
They snap each other. Like they just send a quick little photo of their face. Like, and I'm like, just his face. Like, just like, here I am. I'm like, what the heck is that all about?
Right. Like texting is old to them. Like, you know, like they avoid Facebook. They don't even like texting. Message me on social media. So you got to be there. And so I think that's the piece that's so critical.
Yeah, I agree. And back just real quick, we'll go way full circle about people getting new into the business. There is a way for that to work and to succeed. There's lots of them. I mean, I was new once. You were new once.
Yeah.
And you said it, and you already said it too, is have a coach. But a coach and a good team to join is what I like to recommend to learn from. So that makes your learning curve so much shorter than if you just try to figure it out on your own, because you're going to be one of those 4 out of 5 that fails and then 4 out of 5 the next year that fails. But if you join somebody with a good system and a team, like I know lots of realtors out there in lots of different places, and then myself personally, we have all those coaching plans in place for all kinds of different scenarios of agents. So it can be done. Your chances of success are much higher if you align with good people and good teams that have good resources like you and good systems in place to teach people in an organized way.
100%. To me, the two biggest things are, number one, don't worry about your commission the first couple of years.
Yes.
Don't worry about your split. Don't worry about, I got to be at 100% place. No, you got to be at a place that has amazing training with a lot of experience. Yeah, step-by-step training. Like every day, what do I do today? What do I do today?
Exactly.
You know, go to one of the big shops those first couple of years. Don't go to some small. You go to a smaller place. Smaller places are amazing if they have an amazing training schedule. Don't worry about your commission. Worry about invest in your business. You know, there's no other business in the world that allows you to not spend that much money in marketing other than sales jobs like these. Okay. But when you're first getting going, you know, invest in yourself, you know, buy some leads. Just, they're not going to be great, but at least get your phone ringing a little bit so you know how to talk to customers. Okay. Or you know, you can develop some sales techniques. You may go 0 for 100 on the leads. It's okay. Right. Because it gives you 100 chances to call people and to get rejected and to get hung up on and called every name in the book and all that stuff. It doesn't matter if you close anybody. Okay. And then
fail faster. Fail faster. That's
fail
it.
faster.
Don't be afraid. You know, don't try to be cool. Just get out there and do it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first 100 phone calls you make, you're going to sound like a newbie.
Yeah,
you just are, and you're not going to close. You're probably not going to close anybody unless you're the greatest salesperson in the world. But you need to have those 100 calls so that you can learn what a script sounds like, and so you can know how to be personable with people and how to connect with people, and that'll come from your training and all that. But you got to have to get through those calls, and then to me, I think you hire a coach. Like, as soon as you have enough skill, right, the first step is to get trained, right, Shay? And I don't know, probably 6 months, a year later, hire a coach, because what you need is, they're going to be costly, but you're investing in your own business, and they're going to hold you accountable. Because even when you learn what to do, you're not going to be accountable to yourself. You're going to go play golf today. Okay. Yeah. If you were supposed to make 20 calls today, I promise you're going to find 75 things to do before you make those 20 calls. Like any little thing that happens. Oh, my wife asked me to take out the garbage. That's more important than my call, right? Well, my wife who works and has a regular job, she needed me to go pick up the kids today. That's more important than the calls. They're just going to be everything in life is going to be more important than those calls. And you know what? They're not. They're not, because if you crush it in these businesses, you're going to blow away your wife's salary. I promise you will. So you got to get your significant other on board to say, I'm going to devote the next year to 2 years to this. Even though I'm not making any money, I'm going to treat it like a full-time job. I'm going to be working 40 to 50 hours a week. I'm going to get trained. I'm going to read. I'm diving in. I'm getting a coach. I'm going crazy. But at the end of 2 years, if I don't pull this off, then let's revisit all this stuff. But you give me my 2 years, I will pull this off. Right?
Yeah. That's exactly what I did too. You know, I was the first guy, I mean, as a brand new agent, I got there probably 6:30 every morning. I made the coffee for the whole office. And then I did my script play, my role play stuff with my team member that was also new. Then we started calling for 3 hours. We called database calls and people that we started doing open houses and stuff. So then we'd take our people, put it all in their mix, and we did 3 hours of prospecting and follow up. Then we'd go out in the field and do live field training, like looking at houses, looking at meeting with new builds and learning the inventory there that's not on the MLS, and visiting country club, guard gated country club communities, learning about the amenities at the country club for people. So we knew that as a resource. Working in Summerlin is where we were, and all the guard gated neighborhoods, we were doing luxury real estate. And, I mean, it's a simple recipe, really. But you have to get out there and do it.
You have to do it.
And do the reps.
And it's so Teddy in the comments, but happy wife, happy life, right? Teddy, that is true. But would your wife be happier with you banging home $250,000 a year doing your business, or picking up the kids every day, right? So you got to get them on board. If you let me do what I'm planning on doing, just give me, you guys together decide. This is the period of time. To Shay's point, you got to treat it. It has to be treated like a full-time job, even when you're not making any money. And you can't let the stress of that happen. You got to be ready for the failure. You're going to fail a bunch, but then one day you're going to wake up and your phone's going to be ringing and people are going to want to buy of the work you put in. Nobody ever sees those first years, right? And we talk about them now, but then eventually they go away, so long as you treat it like a full-time job. The one thing you don't want to do is get in real estate or mortgage because you think that you can do two things at once, or because you think that we have flexible schedules. We do have very flexible schedules, but not at first. Well, but you can. It can be flexible if you want it to be. And if you take that route, you're never going to make it, because it's not a flexible job. In fact, it's worse than flexible, because you got to find the 50 hours a week to put it in. And if you decide, well, I'm going to take my kids to school in the morning and I'm going to meet them for lunch, I'm going to do all this stuff. Well, now you don't get going until 2 p.m, right? Are you going to do it from 2 to midnight every day?
Yeah. Now you get out what you put in. So the time you put in is what you're going to get out. So, and especially in the beginning, but anytime you need to, sometimes you start getting comfortable. You're making lots of money. You have a lot of stuff coming in. You get relaxed, and then you've let go of the ball a little bit. So I always tell people it's like pushing a boulder up a hill in the beginning. It's hard. You're pushing like crazy. It takes everything you got, and then you're going to get to a plateau. So you're going to get up there, and then you just can tap that ball. Just keep it going. But if you let off a while and you're like, okay, well, now I'm just going to take a nap for a while or go do something else, go play golf, in this scenario, and then the ball stops rolling. Well, you got to go over there and if you want to go to the next level, or it might have gone down a little, and you got to push the boulder back up. So it's all about consistency and having balance in that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like what Teddy said in the chat. So he reminded his wife that if he takes the time off during the day, it takes time away from family time later on in the day. That's a great. I mean, that's the communication that for any lender or real estate agent that's watching this today. That's a great tip. Is that, look, what happens a lot of times is the people in our lives, because they see our I don't want to say disrespect the time, but they think that we have more free time. We don't have more free time. We have more flexible time, right? And so,
good way to put it.
It's like, what's cool about the job is, like I said, you go do something this morning. We go play golf this morning. But when you get back in the afternoon, you're going to be grinding it out till probably 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And so, to Teddy's point, somebody asks you to do something in the morning, you got to do that's personal. It's okay. But you're probably, especially in your early years, you're going to be making up that time somewhere. And so it could be on the weekends. And the biggest challenge for people that have families, young families, and if you're getting started, is to find that work-life balance. Shay, this is for everybody who's listening. I read a great, everybody knows who John Gordon is, right? John Gordon's written some of the greatest small business books of all time. In fact, the book, The Carpenter, that he wrote literally changed my business No other book has ever changed my business the way The Carpenter changed my business. But John Gordon said something once that there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's a dance you do. It's a work-life dance. So if you go to vacation in Laguna Beach for the weekend and you say, I'm turning my phone off. I'm not answering my phone for 3 days, right? Well, you went out of business for 3 days, right? I mean, you didn't have to do that to be focused on your wife and your kids or your husband and your kids or whoever, right? You could have answered a text for 2 seconds and said, hey, can I call you on Monday at 2? Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, it takes 30 seconds to answer text. No, you don't drop what you're doing and take a 2-hour phone call. Right. But you can easily manage that and find somebody in your life to cover for you during that time. So it's just a dance. It's a dance we do all the time. And so I thought that was really genius. When I read that, it really kind of gave me more permission, because I was the type, Shay, that it really bugged me for decades that I've never, ever been able to take a vacation in my life without working. I would literally wake up at 6 a.m, do 3 hours worth of work before everybody woke up, and then go back to it at 10 o'clock at night and do 2 or 3 more hours to get caught up on vacation. And after reading what John had said, I said, you know what? I got to give myself permission to deal with it during the day as it comes, and just make sure I manage it properly. And so, it makes life so much easier when you just think that way.
Yeah, and it boils down to communication, because I'm the same way, and this is what I teach people and coach people that come into my businesses, is that communication is key. So all you have to do is acknowledge that somebody's reaching out to you and say, hey, I see that you're calling me. It could be a text that says, sorry, I can't talk right now. I'll get back to you in a minute. I always train everybody to do their voicemails. It's like, hey, this is Shay. Thanks for giving me a call. I'm typically in a meeting or with a client just like you. So please send me a text message. A lot of times I can text back, but I can't maybe call or talk right now. If you send me a text, I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can in between appointments or whatever it is. That's that. Then they text, and I tell people that ahead of time. That's how I work, that I'm always busy. I'm always on calls. I'm always on this stuff. But just shoot me a text or give me whatever. But a text is best. And I'll get back to you saying, hey, I can't talk right this second, but I'm going to get back to you in an hour, whatever it is. And then I do. And if that's like, hey, I'll get back to you tonight or tomorrow or whatever it is, all people want to be is heard, acknowledged, and then that you follow up with whatever you said you were going to do. You don't have to drop everything to do it. So that's an awesome way of doing business.
Well, we spent a half hour talking about coaching, and you want to get in the market a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk data, man. Let's talk about the real estate market and what we're seeing, what you're seeing, because a lot of stuff has changed since the last time you and I talked. And there's a bunch of cool stuff going on right now. I think it's exciting to me. I'm excited for this next year. I'm excited for rates. I'm excited for activity. I think it's going to be kind of bonkers. What are you thinking? What are you seeing?
I agree. I mean, so some things to think about is the reason why everybody in our business right now is so excited is we've seen mortgage rates drop in the last 4 to 6 weeks. It was the biggest 45-day drop in history, Shay. We went from 8% down to, on average, to 6.5% or whatever it ended up being at, and it was the biggest 45-day drop in history. Then we had the biggest 2-day drop a couple weeks ago in decades. So mortgage rates, and what triggered that? The Federal Reserve, who have been raising rates for almost 2 years now, basically have come out and said they're going to stop raising rates. And so now it looks like, if anything, they're going to start dropping their rate sometime next year. Their projections show more like the third quarter. Analysts believe it could happen as early as May. Mortgage rates drop even more, but right now they've dropped enough.
It glitched there again a little bit. Did you say?
Yeah, May 2024 is when a lot of analysts are. So there's a betting market, Shay. There's a betting market on this stuff. Okay, which is crazy, right? So the betting market, 70% probability that they're going to lower their rate in May.
Wow.
So if you go to bet that, that would be that's the odds on that bet.
That's dangerous, man. I love betting. I'm betting on. I got $2 on it.
You can go gamble on that. So anyway, that will trigger mortgage rates to drop more. But so there's a lot of exuberance. What's interesting is the perspective of people, Shay. So when rates were 3 and they went to 6.5, everybody's like, I'm not buying. Rates are too high. Rates went to 8 and down to 6.5, and everybody wants to buy again.
Yeah.
So it's just perspective, right, of what could possibly happen. So there's a lot of enthusiasm. It's the slowest month of the year traditionally in our business, so it's hard to judge exactly what's happening right now, but you can feel it. I can tell you that my December leads. This is just me. I don't know about anybody else out there. My December leads have already way past December 2022, and a lot of that was the last 2 weeks. So year over year, I mean, it's probably going to end up being more than double. And so
for December or
for December, just December to December, December.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
So it just shows you there's people excited about buying houses. I think I had a chat with one of my followers this morning, and we were talking about. And to me, the end of January is going to tell us everything we need to know. We're going to know how excited buyers are about 10, 12 days from now. Yep. They have to get that New Year's resolution in and all that. Everybody in our business is going to kind of know what 2024 is trending at here in about 10 to 12 days. So, but I think there's a lot to be excited about. I think I think that mortgage rates are going to come down. They'll continue to come down some. I don't think home prices are coming down. I just don't think there's enough home inventory for that. Now, some inventory will open up as rates come down because people get tired of their house, or people want different house, right? My kitchen may not be good enough. My bathroom may not be good enough. I don't have enough room, blah, blah, blah. They've stayed because they have a 3% rate, right? But eventually the 3% rate wears thin. And me needing a better kitchen outweighs the $200 a month more I'm going to spend, or $300 a month, or $400 a month more, whatever that number is on your budget. At some point, that 3% rate becomes irrelevant because it's not making you happy.
Right.
And so I think that as the time goes on, we're going to see more and more and more of that every month. And we're already starting to see that. Because if you try to get a home equity line of credit, the interest rate's 9 to 11%. And depending on your credit, because that's tied to the Fed rate, all right? And go try to qualify for a home equity line of credit. Because even though you qualified for your house income-wise, now go add another $100,000 to it at a 9 to 11% rate and tell me if you still qualify. Oh, and then by the way, go try to get a contractor to come out to your house in a reasonable time frame and bid the job and then do the job in a reasonable time frame. So it's just home improvement is up. We've had the biggest year of home improvement almost ever. Okay. So there is a lot of that, but I think there's a big segment of our population that wants nothing to do with that. They'd rather just go buy another house, sell their house. So I think we're going to have increased inventory from people as well who finally say, I don't care anymore. 3 is close enough to 6 and let's go.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to have increased inventory. The big question is going to be, is there enough demand with that increased inventory to not keep home prices from going down or going up? I believe there's still far more buyers.
I believe that too. And especially as interest rates come down, that's all. I mean, that's all anybody's saying. Well, this is a terrible time to buy. Interest rates are high. I'm waiting for interest rates to get down. And I think I posted a thing yesterday with Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, running through the streets, and it said 7%. I stole it from somebody. I don't know. Maybe it was you even. I don't know. And it was like interest rates at 7 or 8%, and it's just him running alone, and then that goes down to 6.5 or something. And there's a bunch of people behind him, and then it goes down to 5 or something. And then there's like 1 million people behind him, and and it says that this many more buyers are qualified with each drop. This many millions of buyers. So I think as interest rates go down, more everybody's going to want to buy. Inventory is going to stay low, even if it goes up a little. Therefore, driving prices up, or at least maintaining the same. I don't see them going down either, especially going into next year.
Shay, the drop we've already seen, 4 to 5 million more people could buy a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in the drop of the last 2 months.
Yeah, right. And remind me, I love it that you know these numbers. How many millions of houses do we need, or how many are on the market, and how many do we need?
So we have about 500,000 houses on the market
In the country?
Right? No, I think it's a million. I want to say million one, or maybe a million. I didn't look this week. So
Yeah.
but it's around a million when we normally have about 1.4 million or so.
Mhm.
Okay. And so that's all in. That's with new homes and everything. Okay. But as it relates to not enough homes, we're about 3.5 million to 5.5 million short inventory for homes. Okay.
And then you just said 4 million more just came available to buy. People
4 to 5 million people just became available to buy.
So there you go. Just that math alone is just like
there's definitely an inventory short. I mean, and now some people say, and they always do, and I did a video on this about how there's 16 million vacant homes in the United States. Have you heard of that?
Shadow inventory. Is that what it is?
Okay. Well, it's even beyond that, Shay. So when the census does their survey, okay, some homes come back as vacant. So so there's about 16 million vacant homes, except for that includes people who have vacation homes who don't answer the survey at their vacation home.
Mm-hmm.
That includes investors who have rented out homes and they're in between a renter. That includes new homes where the person hasn't moved in yet. Mm-hmm. So, and that also includes homes that are inhabitable. So that is not the solution. Okay,
how many homes are there in the whole country, including vacant and non-vacant? Do you have
144 million homes in the whole United States.
And so we're saying 16 million are vacant?
Well, just vacant at the time of the census survey.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but still a small percentage.
Yeah, it's a very small percentage. And so and it's funny because and we should probably let's get into what was the expectation versus. Are you bringing that?
Ooh, I can. I'll try. Teddy said something here. You can take a look at what Teddy said while I try to bring that up.
Teddy said to gauge the borrower's knowledge base, I always follow up with asking what rate would make them act now instead of waiting. More people are disconnected from reality targeting below 4%, and those who realize we need another national emergency for that to happen. I mean, Teddy, obviously you're right. The only time we've ever seen 3 and 4% interest rates were when there was global economic calamity. That's what drives it. No, the Trump administration did not drive that. COVID drove the 2% rate. So, bad economic news makes rates go down. Good economic news makes rates go up, as we've seen. And so it doesn't mean the economy is good. It just means good economic news. And so as a result, you had the 2 lowest rates in our history were 1, the mortgage meltdown, the Great Recession, and 2, the pandemic. Global economic disaster created rates in the 2s and 3s and 4s. And so traditionally 5% is a very low rate. If you're trying to get it below that, you could be waiting the rest of your life. You might as well just plan on being a renter the rest of your life and then hope for global economic calamity because it's very, 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 very unlikely to occur. So 5s should come back. But asking for 3s and 4s is probably not likely. All right, I can't see your screen there.
You can't. That's going to ask. I have it pulled up, but I don't know what I'm doing. So
no, I can see I see a bunch of stuff. So here, let's just go over it. We'll just go. Okay. So I had sent this to Shay and a bunch of my followers. Well, and here's where first was the expectation of what was supposed to happen in 2023, and then I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay. The first one was what was expected to happen was home prices were going to drop 10 to 15%. Okay, Shay, do you have any idea what happened?
I'm trying to save this thing again, so I didn't hear that part.
Oh, okay. So home prices were supposed to fall 10 to 15%. What really happened?
They went up.
They went up. Home prices went up about 5% nationally. Not every market's the same, but they went up 5%.
Some went way more, some went maybe a little less, but they all pretty much went up.
Nationally, they went up 5%. Okay.
On average.
The next thing that was going to happen was forbearance exits were going to create a wave of foreclosures. What happened?
Foreclosures are still historically low.
Historically low. Before, even lower than pre-pandemic levels. Okay. Next, there was supposed to be an Airbnb bust because all these Airbnbs were going to go busto and they're going to flood the market with Airbnbs.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I wanted to ask you about that is because I know that some were struggling there for a while and maybe having a lot of vacancies, but I don't know where we're at today. Do you know?
Yeah. So what happened was there wasn't an Airbnb bust. Airbnb numbers went down. Those people didn't go sell their houses, most of them. They didn't flood the market with inventory. And by the way, this gets to the point I was saying to you, Shay, before. There's 144 million homes in the United States. You know how many Airbnbs there are?
Yeah, how many?
Like 2 million.
Oh, very low.
They literally could all go on the market tomorrow. Right? Every Airbnb seller tomorrow could list their home and it wouldn't do anything to the market. Wow. It would have a little blip.
Hey,
it would have a little blip. Okay.
I got this thing up. Oh, can you see that now?
Yeah, I like it. There we go. Okay. Well, we're letting everybody see it, but it's all right. So
next, is that okay, or do you want me to take it down?
Next, what was a certainty, Shay? Even Bloomberg economists said a 100% certainty that recession was going to happen in 2023. What happened, Shay?
No recession.
No recession now,
at all.
Now those economists are talking about a soft landing. Okay. Now, I happen to think that a recession is going to occur. That's just me.
Fingers crossed.
But that would mean that rates go down. Okay. But so it wouldn't mean prices come down. Prices have only come down in 2 recessions. They don't always come down. They came down big time in the Great Recession, but that's not traditionally normal. Next, Shay, unemployment was going to skyrocket in 2023. What happened?
Unemployment's still low.
Unemployment is still low. Okay. Next, what was expected? People weren't going to be able to pay their mortgage. We're going to have more foreclosures. What happened?
People are still making their mortgage. They're not foreclosing. They have too much equity, for one thing.
Yeah, right. Delinquency rates are at an all-time low. Don't read the headline of foreclosures are way up. Yeah, you know what? Foreclosure filings are way up. But why is that? Because we had a moratorium. We literally had a moratorium on foreclosures during the pandemic. There was zero. There was nothing. So of course there's going to be 20% more filings, 30% more filings. But there was 8 million in the Great Recession foreclosures. There's maybe 11,000 nationwide right now.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's like 3,000 a month repossessions. Wow. It's something ridiculously small. Okay. The next one, expected. Investors are going to sell all their homes. The big Wall Street investors are going to sell their homes. Shay, what happened?
They're buying more. I think they're
buying more
opportunity.
And they're buying so many that there's a bill in Congress right now to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So not only did they not sell it all off, Congress is trying to set a law so they can't buy anymore. All right. Next, mortgage rates hitting 7% was going to crash the market. What happened?
Nope. Demand was still strong. We still have
low
inventory and prices staying good.
Yeah. Next, student loans were going to kill the demand. What happened next?
Yeah, they forgave all the loans.
Right, they're forgiving loans, and they're doing forbearance, and the Biden administration is trying to figure out a way to get rid of them forever.
Mm-hmm.
Next, when mortgage rates hit 8%, that was certainly going to kill the market. What happened?
Nope, still going strong.
Still going strong. And then finally, inventory was going to increase so rapidly that housing prices were going to crash. What happened?
Nope, still lower inventory across the country.
Still low inventory. So look at all this. I want you to absorb this list. Okay, these were ways we would have probably bet on at least half of those happening, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would guess that a lot of those would have happened.
And none of them happened. 0.0. So the point to this is this: quit trying to time the market.
Yeah.
Right? Quit trying to time the market. You go buy a house when you can afford a house and you're emotionally ready to buy a house, and you jump in and you jump into the real estate ownership ladder and get it done. And don't listen to the headlines. Look at these headlines. Most of these were a certainty. It wasn't like there's a chance this is going to happen. It was 100% guaranteed this is happening. And literally none of these happened. The opposite happened, especially when rates went to 8. When rates went to 8, I don't know about you, Shay, but I was thinking to myself, we got big problems ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. I thought they were overcorrecting on everything a little bit too much, a little bit too fast. And like you said, in the end, that might still pan out to be that. But for now, it's all working out pretty good.
Yeah, and why is that?
Too.
And why is it? It's supply. It's basic economics. It's supply and demand. People want to own homes. More and more people. The population growth was bigger last year than any year in I think 5 years. Okay, people want to buy homes. It's not it's a need.
Yeah, population growth. You know what people don't think about that enough is we're populating the world exponentially. So if you think about that, and that's the thing I've thought about for a long time, is that we keep cracking out new generations of people that are bigger and bigger and bigger, that are living longer and longer. And so, good business sense is to think about things that a growing population are going to need and where squeezes are going to be. One of them is 100% housing. We're seeing it live. We've talked about it before. The builders are not building spec homes since the recession, where everybody got stuck in the mortgage crisis, all that. So they haven't built enough homes to keep up with demand for how long now? Has it been 10 years?
2008, so 15 years.
Yeah, so, and they couldn't catch up if they've quintupled their construction for the next 10 years. They still wouldn't be on pace, because also the population will continue to grow along with that. So the demand from this data and from my view is going to continue to be, the demand will be high, supply will be low. They can't catch up. It's not
the only way they're going to catch up is if they decide to build spec houses, which they're never going to do again after 2008 because they got burned too bad. So, look, shelter is a need. It's not a want. Shelter is not an investment. It's not crypto. It's not buying Walmart. It's not buying Target. It's buying a roof over your head. Everybody needs it, right? So you can have rates go to 15 and people will still buy shelter. It's a need. It's not a want.
That happened in the 80s. It was 15, 16, 17%.
Yeah. Rates were that high. And so, it's nice when it appreciates. It's awesome when it appreciates. And it's a great reason to buy it because it can appreciate. But at the end of the day, you need it. It's shelter. And if you're planning on being there a long time, then you don't have to worry about all this other stuff, market conditions and interest rates and all this other stuff. Because if you stay long enough, it all works itself out. It's no different than owning a stock, right? If I could go buy, as long as I buy a decent stock, right, and I don't have a plan to sell it for 7 to 12 years, there's a pretty good chance it's going to go up in value, right? Now, it may not, but if next year it goes down by 30%, who cares? Yeah. Doesn't matter because I'm not selling it.
And the cool thing is with the house, you at least have an asset. So even if it goes all the way to zero, you still have the wood you could set on fire and keep yourself warm.
I love that. Yeah. You stick your TV. I said, look at my TV, my big screen in there. That's funny. So okay. So heading into 2024, Shay, I'm super optimistic. No, I don't think 2024 is going to be a year like we saw during the pandemic, but I certainly think it's going to be a heck of a lot better than 2023. And I think that it's just a mind shift change. It's not so. It is mortgage rates some, but it's also going to be mind shift. It's going to be. It's like the frog you put in the pot, and you turn up the hot water, you drop it in hot water. We've been in the pot of higher rates now. It's accepted that rates are not going to be down to 2, 3, and 4 again for, to Teddy's point, maybe ever. And so if you're going to buy a house, you're just going to have to know that. Look, and there's a great strategy, Shay, we haven't talked about it yet, buying down your interest rate. If you have an accommodating seller, which you have right now, accommodating sellers, even though the average mortgage rate in the United States is about 6.5%, right? You can get that down in the 5s. If you can get the seller to give you a few points, right? What'd you do, Shan? You bought a farm, right?
Yeah, we bought a small animal farm. The purchase price was $675. We got a $15,000 credit at the time, which was a little early. Now, we didn't know what it was going to do, but at the time we did the best we could, and it was $699. And our first year is $499, and then the second year will be $599. Third year will be $699. Now, hopefully, something in there in between will change, and we'll refi the whole thing. But if not, I mean, we got a great deal, and we got credits for other stuff too. And the house appraised for $75,000 more than what it's worth as is. So, there's all kinds of opportunity out there, but definitely the rate thing's are easy peasy. I mean,
Well, you know what, and I'm gonna get accused of just being another sales guy trying to pump up the market. But I truly believe, and I've told this to everybody, all my friends, that we all have an amazing opportunity till the end of February to buy a house.
Yes,
An
right
investment
now
house,
it's the best.
whatever
I'm
it is.
so excited.
Right now is the time, because once the spring buying season hits, so just so you know, traditionally in our business, March till about May, June is the hottest time in our market. Okay,
Yep,
every
through the second quarter. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And when that switch gets flipped, it's over. I think. Because sellers are not going to be willing to negotiate with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still get a great house, probably at a decent price, but they're not going to be as willing to play with you as they are today. And so Shay just bought an animal farm. Shay, what kind of animal are on this animal farm?
Well, previously there were bears, alligators, emus, all kinds of reptiles. 2 emus. They sound like dinosaurs, man. They're like, they make the craziest sound. Goats, chickens, like pigs, a donkey, a llama, tortoises. I mean, you name it, and cats galore. So we bought the place sans animals, but once we get everything fixed up, and there's a lot of forest stuff to kind of work on, and fencing and fixing, and there's 2 gigantic buildings, metal buildings. So we'll fix those up so they're nice and cool. But maybe we'll throw in some mini cows or something like something.
Oh my God! So you got rid of the animal. Where did the animals go?
But it was a rescue. So they were all rescued, and by the time we were buying it the first time over the summer, and then we canceled, and we got into it way lower, $100,000 lower than the first time. Anyway, they had already whittled down a lot of the animals. Did I say bears? They had 2 bears.
Oh my God!
But anyway, so by the time we got there, the only thing that was left was a tortoise, and we even watched the tortoise for an extra week after we closed, because it lived in one of the metal buildings that, it's freaking 20, 30 degrees here right now. And that building is set at 85 degrees for this one tortoise to live in for a week. So that was kind of funny. But they gave us a bunch of free propane in exchange. So we were like, cool. It was a good trade.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There's all kinds of opportunities out there for people to get. We're excited. And I'm, like you said, I'm super excited for this next year. But right now, and that's what I've been saying, we kind of lucked out. When we decided to buy this house again, this property, I could smell the opportunity. I wanted the high rate, and I knew that I could probably get a credit and buy that down, because I could smell the rates starting to come down. And then we're going into an election year, so they don't make things look bad. They don't want the economy looking bad. They don't want any of that. Everything's gonna look good next year for the election. Yeah, that's just how it happens. Yeah, cyclically. So
and for those that are listening, it's not this big conspiracy theory thing. It's almost like that thing where they don't investigate people. They don't try not to do stuff that's controversial in an election year. So if they can avoid it, they want to try to be fair to the incumbent and to whoever else is coming in, to not do anything hyper crazy. And so, to your point, Shay,
nice and moderate through the
try to keep it status quo, right? So, I agree with you. But I truly think that if you're on the fence and you think that spring is going to be your time, man, I'd go out a month early if I were you. I mean, because I just think Teddy even said in the comment, once we kick off spring, back to offer and over asking. I agree, Teddy. I just think I think sellers know that. I think their agents are telling them that. And I think that, there's a lot of people that are waiting to put their house on the market for that time, because
after the holidays,
they get more selection, but you're probably going to pay more, and you're not going to get the concession that you would get today. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean you go out and run and buy a house just to buy a house. I mean, let's go back to what I said. To me, I think you want to be patient. Now's the opportunity to be patient, find the perfect house, make sure you can afford it, it fits your budget, and that you're emotionally prepared to buy. Mm-hmm. If it checks all those boxes, now is your time. But if it's just not the time, that's okay. But just know that I think as we get to spring, I think we all agree, if that it's going to be, it's not going to be today. It's going to be different.
I'm not one of those guys that says, hey, buy now, or sell now. Everything's crashing. Everything's going, I'm not one of those extreme alarmists or any of that. But watch what I do. I've done this so many times. I've bought and sold so many houses and make most people's heads spin. And I make money on every single one of them. I buy them right. I see the opportunity and I buy them all except one on market. I've only bought one house my whole time of buying my own houses. Only one house off market. But anyway, so I'm leading by example. I'm not just talking about it. I just did it. And it's an amazing opportunity. And not only that, but I'm going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars in return on this one. So right now, though, is the time to do it. You have a couple of months here, just like you said, till we get into the first quarter. And after tax returns, that's when everybody goes bonkers. Suddenly they're flush with cash, so they can do that down payment or do whatever it is. So, when that comes, especially at the end of January and in February, that's when it's going to go bananas, which is exciting to me. But if you can do it now, just like Aaron said, I'm not telling you there is not a better time. And we're not fortune tellers, so anything could happen, but the writing is on the wall. The opportunity, the probability is good right now.
Yeah.
So do it if you can.
I agree. I'm the same way, Shay. Right now, I'm trying to buy an investment property or two, and I'm feeling the pressure because I want to get it done before the end of February. Because I just think that the sellers that I'm looking at, the deals I'm trying to get done, they're going to disappear in the spring. Yeah. And I could be wrong. I could be way wrong, but I just feel like now's the opportunity if you want to try to get a deal. So but that's all I got today, Shay. Unless you got any questions for me.
No, that's it, man. Thanks so much again for coming on. Always a delight to have you because you have so much knowledge and information. You're up to date on all of this stuff, and it's just fun because we both kind of know or have similar energy toward and passion toward helping people know about the facts and what's going on, and we're excited right now, both of us, because there's things to be excited about.
Yeah.
And it's not always that way. Sometimes it's more of a, this is what's happening now, and this is how you can deal with it. Well, now it's something happy's coming.
I agree 100%, Shay. In fact, to that point, so I send out a daily text. Yep, so to people I'm closest with in the real estate business, I send a text every single day with a market update. And there got to be a point when a really good friend of mine and a business partner of mine sent me a text saying, "Aaron, you got to put some positivity into this thing. This thing is such a buzzkill to read every single day." And it was because there was no good news. There was no optimism. The only optimism was maybe it's the time to buy because rates will go down eventually and you will get a good deal. But other than that, rates were 7%, 8%. And it was really, you couldn't say unequivocally they weren't going to go to 10. And so that was, I guess, speculation. That was the optimism, I guess, is that these things could go to 10. So it's not like we're sunshine pumpers all the time, right? We're honest, and this is the way we see it right now. We're excited, and I know a lot of people in the business are excited, and it's tempered excitement because it could flip tomorrow. But it's just exciting because 2023 was not very exciting, and 2024 brings some optimism with it. So we're excited for the opportunity, and it's the holiday season. How are you anything but jolly during the holiday season? Right? So
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all the good things.
Thank you.
Happy Kwanzaa for all those out there, all of that stuff.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays to everyone. So thanks again so much for coming on. Hope to do it again soon. We'll check back maybe after the first of the new year, and hope you have happy and safe holidays, and hello to Kim and everybody at home.
Thank you. Say hi to Jen, and always a pleasure to be with you, Shay.
All right, buddy. Well, then you take care, and we will see you on the next show. See everybody next week. Actually, not next week, because it's Christmas. Week after that. Take care.